So the United States government decided to ban TikTok, and that's not awesome considering I am or was at this point a TikToker. I do feel like I'm a little more optimistic than a lot of my peers from TikTok though, mostly because, why am I so optimistic? That's actually a pretty good question. Um, Now, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Losing a platform where you have about 200,000 followers definitely sucks. It definitely hurts a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna be the end of the world. One, because I feel like I've had so many peaks and valleys when it comes to my experience on TikTok. And I feel like that kind of goes without saying. If you've been on TikTok as a serious content creator over the past couple of years, I know you have negative things to say about TikTok. So let's go ahead and get all that off of our chest right now while the app is banned, okay? Let's really just dogpile on them. First and foremost, who knows how long this ban is actually gonna last? And honestly, I think that's the biggest problem that I have with everything that's going on right now. Not even from the government side of things, because they gon' government, that's what they do. But TikTok, I swear to God, bro, it makes absolutely no sense. I have almost 200,000 followers on the app. I know a bunch of other creators with way bigger followings than me on the app. How are we left in the dark about what's going on right now? We have not gotten any type of communication from TikTok about how long the app is gonna be down, what we can expect as creators. Like, you would think that we would have gotten some type of emails or notifications about what to expect, and it has been silence, pitch black silence. We haven't heard anything from TikTok, and that's very concerning. But what did I expect? I should have completely expected this, because that's how TikTok operates, man. If you have been on that app, then you know what it's like trying to get in contact with anybody. It's impossible. You can't. There is no customer service team to reach out to. There are no reps to reach out to help you have a better experience on TikTok as a creator. And I don't know, man. I think this just might be what it takes to have a lot of creators come out and see that this is not the platform to be putting all your eggs in one basket on. If you, after this, think that TikTok is a full-time job and you think that that is something that is going to be able to sustain you and your family, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Now, I don't want to sit here and be completely negative, because for the most part, TikTok has been a really awesome experience for me. First and foremost, I never in my life thought that I would blow up on social media. The fact that TikTok's algorithm is the way that it is the only reason why I'm sitting here talking to you right now, because for the most part, nobody really cares about what I say on social media, or at least they haven't throughout my time and being on it, right? But on the flip side of that, I've never thought of myself as somebody that could blow up on social media. So TikTok allowing it to happen because of the way that their algorithm is set up really kind of opened up my eyes, I guess. And to me, that's where the real strength of the app comes in, right? If TikTok has shown me nothing else in my experience of being on the app the past couple of years, it's shown me that anybody can create an audience for themselves. If you consistently put out content, you will find your niche. And there's enough people in the world consuming content that you can find your audience too. I had such a strange experience in the way that I grew my platform on TikTok that it kind of skewed my perception of what success actually looked like on social media in a bunch of different ways. That's not really something that I want to talk too much about on this video. When I say that, here's what I mean. When I started on TikTok, the first 3 or 4 months, I was just posting into the void, right? I think somehow I'd managed to grow my page into about 3,000 or 4,000 followers, but in reality, it was in a real gimmicky way, right? I was in the toy collecting space, and I saw that everybody else in the toy collecting space grew their platform by doing giveaways and saying things like, hey, once I get to 1,000 followers, once I get to 2,000 followers, I'm gonna give you something out of my collection. And that's what I was doing. And then I realized, like, man, I don't want to give these internet niggas my toys, bro. I don't want to do that. I bought this because I like it. Why am I giving it away? For followers? Nah, bro. So I stopped doing that. I think the most difficult part about being a content creator for me so far has been trying to find a lane to be in. More often than not, you have to pick a box and stay in it and decide to make content within that box, and I just can't, man. The way that I'm set up creatively, I have to make content about whatever comes to my mind, because that's what I want to do. And the second I stop doing what I want to do is the second I stop having fun. And the second I stop having fun, what's the purpose in doing any of this? Because I'm definitely not getting paid hella money or anything like that. And I think TikTok is the best example of that, right? On TikTok, I could get on there and I would get a couple thousand views no matter what I posted, but I also had almost 200,000 followers on that app. So I feel like my videos probably should have done more than a couple thousand views, even if I'm talking about nonsense. It really shouldn't matter at that point, because aren't people coming for my commentary, or are they coming for the topic that I'm talking about? And that's kind of where TikTok got tricky for me. When my page started growing pretty rapidly, I got really concerned, and here's why. Most people, whenever you get tens of thousands of followers, you get excited. You're like, man, I'm doing something right. But to me, I saw the writing on the wall, and I had a self-realization pretty quickly, and it was that nobody was really coming for me for the most part. They were coming because they liked what I was talking about. My page blew up because I was talking about Star Wars. I was watching Star Wars for the first time. And don't get it twisted, I'm rocking a Star Wars shirt right now, but I don't want to be a Star Wars content creator, mostly because I don't know enough about it to talk about it at a high level. I'm just a person that saw it once and decided to talk about it. But from talking about it that one time on my TikTok channel, I ended up growing by tens and thousands of followers. I think I went from like 5,000 followers to like 40 something, 50 something thousand followers in like 2 or 3 days. And that was really cool until it wasn't cool anymore, because once I finished Star Wars, what do you think happened? People stopped watching. And that's kind of what TikTok's experience is. The way that I became successful on TikTok was by going from fandom to fandom and just kind of collecting people that enjoyed my commentary on the topic, right? I talked about Star Wars, I've talked about Marvel things, I've talked about Harry Potter. I've basically went from thing to thing that I'd never seen before, engaged with the community, and tried to lasso up as many people that enjoyed the way that I talked about things as possible. And that became my core audience. And now people enjoy hearing me talk about things regardless of what it is. Well, I say people who, y'all, the people that are watching this, if you know me, you know me. I'm not a big content creator yet. Maybe. We'll see. Here's how I actually feel about TikTok getting banned, though. I don't know. Like, honestly, I'm right there in the middle on it, because data security is a very, very serious thing. I know a lot of people don't take it seriously, but I've worked in tech a majority of my professional life, and I'm telling you right now, bro, data is the new oil. You're going to be hearing people say that for like the next decade or so. The things that people can do with your data is crazy. Now, I'm definitely not the person to be giving you a data privacy and a data security speech, but that is something that I think you should have top of mind over the next 10 years, mostly because the things that people are going to be doing with generative AI and machine learning over the next decade or two, crazy. Things that we can't even imagine. Think about what life was like 10 years ago. We didn't have ChatGPT. We didn't have anything like that, and now supercomputing exists. What do you think is going to happen over the next couple of decades? On the flip side of that, though, I do get pissed off about the thought of TikTok going away, mostly because, one, man, they banned TikTok before they banned Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. That is outrageous, bro. You can get on X right now and watch people get killed. You can watch people die on that app right now. That would never fly on TikTok. You can watch porn, as much of it as you want, on X, and that would never fly on TikTok, bro. The way that TikTok is moderated, the way that your For You page, the things that can get off on TikTok, you can barely say curse words on that app without it getting flagged. X is one of the most vile spaces in the entire world. Everything that the United States government thinks is happening on TikTok is actually happening on X right now. There are bots actively influencing Americans right now to think radical, ridiculous thoughts against other Americans. That's happening on X as we speak right now. Another thing that really pisses me off about the idea of TikTok going away is just knowing how much money regular people are going to be missing out on moving forward. TikTok changed so many people's lives. There are so many people that got on that app, built up a following, gained millions and millions and millions of likes and views, and I don't think people really take into consideration how big of a deal that is. I know a lot of people write it off as just making TikToks, but you are literally entertaining hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, and there's value in that. Even if nobody else puts value in that, even if other people tell you, oh, well, it's time to go get a real job, oh, it's time to put the fries in the bag, even though it was an extremely privileged job that we had, it was a job nonetheless. And I'm gonna say this, man, if you made enough money on TikTok for it to be your full-time job, I personally think that you deserve it. If you are entertaining enough that people will pay you enough money, or watch your content enough that you are getting enough money that you can pay your rent and pay your bills and sustain your life, man, that's awesome. That's a blessing. And that means that you are talented in some way, shape, or form. Now, the reason I feel like a lot of TikTokers are panicking right now is because the talent that they had was mimicking, and that's not transferable. That's a problem. The problem with a lot of TikTokers is that they're not content creators. They're a bunch of rinse and repeaters. So they'll see somebody else do something on the app that performs well, and then they decide, hey, that did well for them, I'm just gonna do that exact thing. That's not gonna help you pop on a platform like YouTube. But if you are truly a creative, if you really like making content, then we should all be okay. If you're talented enough to entertain thousands of people on TikTok, then you're talented enough to entertain thousands of people on YouTube. You just have to put a little more effort into it. So a question I've been receiving a lot, mostly from family and friends, is what's next now that TikTok is going away? And again, I'm gonna say I don't think that TikTok is going away, big picture, but if it does, what's next for me is business as usual, man. I'm just gonna be on Boy, I had to catch myself there. I was about to say on TikTok. I'm not going to be on TikTok. I'm going to be on YouTube and Twitch, continuing this grind. On Twitch, I host a role-play wrestling league with my cousin. It's called the PWO, Premier Wrestling Online. I'm a commentator, my cousin is a commentator, and my cousin is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. He's actually trying to become a comedian out in LA right now, and he's gonna be successful because I'm telling you, he's the funniest person I've ever met in my life. Our goal for 2025 is to average a couple hundred people in our Twitch audience for every single wrestling show that we throw. If we can manage to do that, then we can manage to become Twitch partners. And if we can become Twitch partners, then maybe we can get the attention of the WWE. In terms of the content that I'm going to be making on YouTube, I hate to say it, but it might be all over the place. I'm still trying to figure out what lane I want to be in. I know I want to upload my wrestling content on here because that's what I have the most fun doing. I want to upload gameplay videos. An idea that I've had is to play through a bunch of classic video games that I've never played before and just see where it takes me. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. And I also want to do more commentary style videos like this, reacting to things, just adding my 2 cents into things and see where it goes. The thing that I've learned as a content creator is that you just have to put it out there. Always try to make your content better, always try to develop it, but at the same time, you're not going to be perfect. Just put it out there, see what people like, see what people take to, and continue trying to grow is my plan anyway. And if I'm being real, this TikTok ban has made me realize that I'm going to have to become a better content creator if this is what I want to do. Making TikToks isn't that difficult, at least not the way that I made them. So I feel like 2025, 2026 is really going to be me challenging myself to make better content. And that sounds like a lot of fun. If you made it to the end of this video, I do appreciate you. Maybe drop a like, drop a sub on the page. My following on YouTube isn't huge, but I do have a monetized page, so the views really do help. Actually, I want to end my video by saying this, and you have my word on this, okay? If TikTok ain't back and available on my phone in a couple of days, the next video that I upload is going to be me calling every single member of the United States Congress a hoe.